my tiny whoops grooving like a funky jam. Dip through the doorway, spin by the cab, bounce off the toaster, yeah, I meant to do it. Neighbors knocking, saying, what's that sound? It's my brush motor soul train getting down. Flying through the curtain, dancing on breeze. Freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic, bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight. Can't stop it all. I got LED strobes and a shag rug trail. I'm looping through the lava lamp, leaving a tail. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got soul. I'm the pilot of the party. On a roll, TV remote's a gate, the lamps a dive. I'm flying like it's 75. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. Below, we fly that flow. Below, grab that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. Bounce that all. We fly it all. Funk it all. We fly it all. Tiny whoop love, funky and free. We fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split that's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze. Freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight. Can't stop at all. Can't stop at all. Can't stop at all.
What's up, fuckers? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to the show. It's Sunday Q&A. A very special day. Only 5 years later, I finally have my frame built, and you just got to watch it fly. The story of my frame development is one of just death and destruction and despair. There have been 3 people involved in the design of it. Ryan Harrell, the most recent, and he made the majority of the changes to it. And yeah, his 3D printer exploded. His CNC exploded when he was trying to cut 6mm thick carbon for the giant 7-inch glide arms a couple years ago. And by the time he got his CNC fixed and he finished cutting everything to cut my frame, it was in a time that I was super busy and not doing a lot of like outdoor flying. And so it's just sort of been sitting for a while, but I finally got one put together. This one is analog. This is like his first revision of the frame. The newer version of it has a little bit of extra carbon here and a couple small little changes like AIO mounting, 25.5 by 25.5 holes. But the arm design has not changed, and so I did this one in analog so that I could pound the shit out of it and see where the arms break. And so, yeah, that's what this is. What you were just watching, the full build, is my frame, which is Squished X. It's just like a pretty standard school bus style, you know, like 5-inch freestyle-ish frame, which unbelievably doesn't really exist in the 3-inch world. We don't really have many 3-inch individual arm, in this case, split base plate. Wait, no, this is not the split base plate. That's right. There is a split base plate version of this. There's the regular base plate version of this as well. You can build it both ways. Yeah, Squished X geometry, swings 3-inch props, fairly lightweight, mainly set up for 20 by 20 stacks, but the next build that I'm going to do with this is going to be AIO based because I can put an 04 Lite on this. I dove back into, like, these were just sitting on the shelf because, like, 20 by 20 analog, nobody was really flying it. Thank God Ryan beat me into letting him put those 25 by 25 mounting points on it because, and the reason why I'm screwing around with these again, is that the 04 Pro will be really, really interesting in here. But yeah, this build has my frame, and then it's got these old ass RCX 1304 5000 kV motors that have very weak magnets. They're very smooth running motors, not notchy at all. These motors are at least 6 years old. They might be older than that. They might be 7 or 8 years old. And so old motor technology, they don't make great power. The KV is awesome. I love that they're 5000 kV, but the magnets are just super weak. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. I don't know what this ESC is, but it's 20 by 20 Talon F7 flight controller made by CL Racing. You can't get these anymore. Eachine VTX with a microphone built in, oddly enough, that you can't get anymore. Happy Model ELRS receiver with the little antenna out here. A broken antenna. This is a Fox ear antenna that when I flick it, it makes this noise. You can't hear it that well, but it rattles when you flick it, and that means the internal components are all busted to shit. Worst part about this build right now is it has one of these stupid ass XT30 capacitor setups on it. This needs to get removed. It makes the battery strap setup just a total pain in the ass. The flight that you were just watching was on these GemFan biblades. What are these, 3018s, I think? Oh my god, it's covered in dirt and shit. What are these, 3018s, right? Yep, GemFan 3018 biblades. I'm going to play a couple more flight videos for you with it on triblades. The triblades that I ran it on were... initially, I ran it on these Emax Avan Flow 3-inch props, which are too draggy. They're light enough, but they're too pitchy and too draggy for these motors. It performed well on these HQ 3 by 1.8s, but it was a little bit too much propeller. 3 by 1.8 means that the 1.8 pitch refers to each individual propeller blade. These GemFan biblades, which are 3018, same 18 pitch, but only two blades. These performed a lot better. I am going to try to find a low enough pitch 3-inch propeller that will work on these motors. I don't know why. You can't buy these motors anymore, but just in case you have like an underpowered motor, Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to start crashing this thing. The whole point of this was to just batter the living shit out of it, to see where it breaks. It's just for right now, I'm having fun kind of flying it around just normally because I haven't had it built. Nothing crazy with the tune or with the filters or anything like that. The frame is very strong, and the filtering in Betaflight is really, really good. And so, yeah, nowadays, like, it's almost hard to it's almost hard to have a rig in Betaflight not fly damn near perfect with like 4 seconds of moving sliders up and down. And so yeah, it's actually really lightweight. It's only 180 grams, I think. The batteries that I've been flying on it are these GNB 550s, these long boys. It's a little bit too light right now for 3-inch props in my opinion. So the dry weight, it's got a little bit of TPU on it too. Oh, the camera is a Runcam Racer 2, old camera. Dry weight on it is 122 grams, and then with these batteries that I've been running, it fattens up to, yep, 180, right on the nose. 180 is a little too light for 3-inch props for me on a build like this. This wants to be 249 grams. But yeah, first crack at it. The motors are very lightweight. These RCX motors are very light. If I were to build this properly, I would go with a modern 1404 or 1604. These arms have these giant devil horns on them to protect the motors, even if you run like a bigger motor. Yeah. In its current setup, it might actually run better on a 2.5-inch prop, which I am going to try. Emax has a 2.5-inch tri-blade called the Blur, I believe. I don't. They used to make it. I don't know if they still make it. It was a brilliant prop. I hope they still do make it. I'm gonna throw those on and see how it is. It's just very at 180 grams, as you could see. Hopefully, it's just super floaty, and that kind of drives me crazy. A setup like this with a big old body and the camera internal nice and protected with like some propeller in view, it should be heavy. It should have a bunch of like throw to it. You know, you're doing a build that's very well protected. You might as well, you know, just hurl it around and smash the living balls out of it. Having it be super light doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. But that's just me. You do you, my friends. A couple little things that I do need to tweak with it, but it's not bad. Not bad at all, especially for like the first few batteries. That was like the 5th battery, I think, that I flew on it. I haven't tuned it at all yet, because whatever tune was on this flight controller is working totally fine. The filters are set up pretty normal. The PIDs, I think like the D-gain slider is up at 1.3. I think the rest of the PIDs are right down the middle at 1.0. So yeah, again, the whole point of this one, since this is the early prototype frame, is just to smash it and see where it blows up. I hope I don't break this flight controller, but like everything else in here is pretty expendable, including the motors. I built it with these motors because they're just such an old motor that, yeah, they don't really have much of a use anymore. These motors actually back in the day were unbelievably good. These were one of the first motors that made 3-inch freestyle rigs a possibility back in the days where we didn't have RPM filtering, and just the filtering in Betaflight and all the flight firmware sucked. Betaflight's filtering was a little bit better, as it tends to be, than everyone else, but the filtering really sucked back then, and these motors were like a revelation because they were a high enough KV at 5,000. They were a good size at 1304 for a 3-inch or a 2.5-inch prop, but mainly they're very smooth. They're very, very smooth running motors. They're not notchy at all. And back before the filtering got good, that made a big difference. And so these motors were like game changers back in the day. But yeah, not anymore. They're pretty worthless now. Like I've got a bunch of sets of these motors. I won't kill all of these motors, but I've got this many of these motors, and so I'll keep a set of these. I have a fresh set in here, and I'll keep them forever for, you know, posterity. But the rest of these motors can definitely die. I'm gonna basically find a propeller. I broke out all of my 3-inch T-mount props here. I'm gonna find a low pitch propeller that I have a lot of, and I'm gonna put that on this, and I'm just gonna bang the shit out of it and see what breaks and where it breaks. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be fine. Like, Ryan Harrell has a lot of frame design experience, and so I have a feeling that it's gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be able to break it, to be honest. At the weight that this thing is at with these batteries, I don't think I'm gonna be able to break it. But god damn it, I'm gonna try. I gotta find somewhere to go. I gotta find somewhere to go that's like somewhat close by, that has some hard objects and some tight gaps. I'm not just gonna go smash it into a wall. That's stupid. I'm gonna go fly it super hard and super aggressively and let the crashes happen. You know, when you just take these things out and slam them into stuff on purpose, like, that's not a real crash. You know, like, you don't typically crash just cruising straight forward into something. You crash when you've just done something and you're flipping and flopping and you're rotating around. You know what I mean? And so the crash testing is going to be in real scenarios rather than just, you know, take the blank frame out and samurai star it into a wall. And so yeah, we'll see if we can learn anything. I have a funny feeling, though, like I said, that this frame is ready to go. And then yeah, I'll talk to Ryan about like what he's willing to do. Like, does he want to cut a bunch of them on his CNC? Or does he want to just send me the files and then I can send them to CNC Madness and have them take care of it? There are a couple of press nuts in here, but other than that, it's pretty sort of straightforward. So yeah, you'll be able to get your hands on this sometime 2026, I promise. 2026, you'll be able to buy this. How about that? Certainly not this year. In the chat, Spaceman Swift was first, Chuck P, FizzPV, Ricardo P, Uriel, McShaky, Midnight Rider, Isaac, Frank Nicholas, Shankin, Uke, B-Bird, Mupshot, Teddy Bear, Snoopy, Jimmy the Cow, Uriel, Sporny, Teddy Bear, Douglas 6, Hendrix Freakazoid, JP Spin, Jimmy the Cow, Apache Smoke, Wounded Sniper, Uriel, Midnight Rider, Render, Tanky, who else do we have? Christian M, Hendrix Freakazoid again, Roger V, Mupshot, FizzPV. The Hills Have Eyes, as well as FPV. Tanky again, Notice, Fizz, Render. Lots of repeats, just trying to sort through the repeats here. Mupshot, Moto N, Moton, sorry, Moton. I've decided that that's your name. Skull, Notice, Ricardo again. I think I got everybody. What's up, friends? Thanks for coming. It's Sunday. What's today? December 14th, and this is the early stream for all you beautiful Europeans. Thank you for coming. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, type at CiottiFPV. You have to put the at and you have to spell it right. At CiottiFPV. And then nothing after that. You need a space after that. If you put a comma after that, it won't work. If you do that, it'll light up on orange. I'll see it. I'll read your comment. Midnight Rider says, hey peeps, I changed my name from Rockcrawler because I sold my Jeep, but happy to be here. Oh, that sucks. That's sad, dude. I'll never. I've only ever sold one car, which was my '96 Mustang Cobra convertible, and I'll never forget the unbelievable sadness of watching it get trailered away from the from my apartment at the time in Charleston, South Carolina. It was the right thing to do. The car had sat under a cover for too many years, and it just absolutely rusted into the ground. But man, I spent a lot of my life in that car. I used to drive that car. I think it was an hour and a half each way to go see my ex-wife when she was in college, and I would do it every single weekend, and I did that for years on end. I took that car from when I bought it, it was at like 80 or 90,000 miles. When I stopped driving that car, it was at 190,000 miles. That's the car that I learned to autocross on. Never got it out to a track day, unfortunately. I did so much work to that car, man. That thing was so cool. It had BBK ceramic coated long tube headers. I went through a couple different intake setups. BBK off-road H-pipe, no catalytic converters anywhere to be found. Initially, it had a Flowmaster exhaust that was too drony. I switched it over to a Borla, I think it was, exhaust with straight through mufflers. The car shot like 10-foot fireballs out the back when you would shift it with just the right kind of pacing. It was so much fun. 300. It made like 300 horsepower to the wheels. It's the So it was a 96, 7, and 8 were the first time that Ford moved away from the 5.0 302, and they moved to a modular 4.6 liter engine. And the Cobra's got a dual overhead cam version of the motor. It's actually the same engine that went in the Koenigsegg CCX, the first Koenigsegg that they twin supercharged. It's the same engine. It revved 7,000 RPM, so big 4.6 liter V8, 7,000 RPM redline, best sounding engine ever. And the 96, 7, and 8, the block was made by Texid, the plant overseas that made Ferrari blocks. And it was an all aluminum block. It was like 80 pounds less than the steel block 4.6s that came in the Terminator Cobras, the 0304s with the supercharger. But the aluminum block was so overbuilt you could put 1,000+ horsepower through it. The only problem with the engine is that the dual overhead cam heads were massive, and so it was really like you don't see this engine in any swaps because the heads were so big. You need a car with like really wide strut towers to fit the damn thing in. But other than that, man, what a cool engine! Such a blast. And then I went pretty nuts with the suspension. It had tons of Maximum Motorsports. It had basically the whole Maximum Motorsports catalog, other than the tubular K member, just because it was way, way, way expensive. And yeah, I autocrossed that car for 6 years, maybe, before I bought the Miata. And yeah, it was so much fun. So much fun. That's not true. I had an 87 notchback Mustang before that got sold, but like I didn't specifically sell that car. Like I was living at home, I think, when it got sold, or like I gave it back to my parents to sell. I forget what the deal was, but yeah, it was hard to see that Cobra go. The hard, when I bought it, the hard top or the soft top was in bad shape, so I had to have a new soft top put on it. It had the really cool Cobra R 95 Cobra R R58 wheels. It was just it's I would I would buy another of the exact car, to be like, as insane as that sounds. I would love to have another of this exact thing, same just the same, black on black on black, convertible, same exhaust, same headers, same H pipe. Like it was just so good. I would try to squeeze more power out of it. Like it was a pretty heavy car. I think they were like 3,600 pounds. I would figure out a way to make a little bit more power out of it. But man, that engine at that RPM, yeah, just one of the best sounding V8s ever. As much as the new Voodoo 5 liter is amazing. It doesn't sound as good as the 4.6 modular dual overhead cam engine. When I sold it, it had 295 millimeter wide tires on a 17x9 wheel. It looked so beefy, man. It was just gorgeous. God damn, I missed that car. And then I bought the Miata and started winning autocrosses. Started winning driver of the years and dominating the STR class. I was never able to win with the Cobra because it was in a bad. I'd done a couple mods that put it into a class that it was nowhere near competitive in. Basically, it ended up in a class where I had to have slicks on it, like big 315 wide slicks to compete. And it was just, that happens sometimes in racing classes. Like if you decide you're going to race in a specific class, you need to read the rule book very, very closely, because if you do like one wrong mod, it'll put you out of that class into some like insane unlimited class. And then basically that's where I was at. It put me into one of the prepared classes. C prepared, maybe? No, C prepared is a Miata class. I forget what the muscle car prepared class is, but like the prepared classes are damn near unlimited. And this was not an unlimited car. I would have had to throw 20, 30 grand minimum at the car to be remotely competitive in that class. Jimmy the Cow says, is the Christmas miracle you showing us how to put water slide stickers on a tiny whoop? It is not, unfortunately. Apache Smokewood Cyber says, CiottiFPV and Gang, how are y'all doing this Sunday evening? I'm doing good, man. Struggling through December. I can't wait for December to be over. It's just too much. December is just, it's just too much. Like, Christmas is great and all, don't get me wrong, and like it's always amazing to see my parents, because they come through in their RV every December. But Jesus, like, December is just too much. My particular blend of mental illness, I've learned over the years, really requires me to live a more simple kind of life with a good chunk of time spent doing things that I enjoy and not just burying myself in work. But December ends up being like just super, super, super overload. So I just kind of hang on for dear life. And like, yeah, I haven't had any like full blown meltdowns, and that's pretty awesome. In years past, I've not been able to say that. So like, yeah, every year I do a little bit better than the year before, but still, it's just, man, December is too much. It's funny, Maggie kind of realized the same thing the other. We both sort of came to this realization at the same time, of like, this is just too much. Like, there's just too much going on this month. But hey, that's Christmas for you. FizzPV says, can you get the files to cut it? Maybe. I have to talk to Ryan about that. Ryan and I are still in the phase of like, build it and fly it to make sure it doesn't have some weird resonance. I still do need to black box it and then bug the shit out of Brandon's Baked Beans to take a look at the black box, to see if there's anything weird in there. But it should be fine. It flies great on a not a super aggressive tune, but like, these motors are also like beat to shit too, and so there's not like a weird RPM that I can hear it or feel it feeding back into itself. That's one of the things that you really look for in frame design. And so yeah, should be cool. Notice says, is your mic running hot? I'm hearing a ring at the end of every sentence. Maybe just me. No, if anything, my mic is a little on the low side. So in theory, that's just you. Unless it's not. Motan says, who here likes turtles? I like turtles! Uriel says, the kind of builds are very good to learn and smash. Indeed. Striker says, that little thing genuinely looks so cute. I love it. Yeah, man, me too. I wish I'd I wish I'd done this sooner. I wish I had done this. You know what it is? I should have done this many, many, many years ago. And like, I kind of missed once we got into digital VTX setups, this was very specifically made for a 20x20 stack and then an analog VTX in the back. And like once we as a community kind of moved away from that style build, the motivation to move forward with this just completely went away. But yeah, thank God, like I said, Ryan convinced me to put those 25x25 holes on this, because the current version of this, which I will get built at some point here, with an 04 Lite, could be extremely fun, just in time for, you know, DJI to get banned here in Cheeseburger dumb people land. So yeah, but I'll get it knocked out. It'll be cool. Removable arms, you can remove the arms by just removing one screw. You'll probably have to also loosen up this screw, but you only have to remove this one screw, and then you could pull this arm straight out. Yeah. Neat little frame. Mupshot says CNC Madness is great, but they're Canadian, and you will pay a tariff. Find a shop in the U.S. I don't think there are any shops in the U.S., unfortunately. But I'm sure Ryan knows all the shops that exist. That'll be a part of his and my conversation when I have some feedback for him. Striker says, I love 3-inch analog builds so much. It's almost tempting me to build one again on the Deep Space 1505s. Jesus, 1505 is a lot of motor for a 3-inch analog build. Runtime on this, by the way. Well, hey, let me start playing some of the other flight footage files. Runtime on this with the 550 mAh 4S batteries in the balls ass cold here today. It's like 18 degrees out. Was 3 minutes. So that'll probably become 3.5 to 4 minutes in normal human being temperatures. Let me see where the flight footage files begin for this thing. Okay, here is this weird predator camera. Nope. This is more tiny whooping. Okay, so it should be here. Yeah, here I put that predator camera in it, and it was like stuck in night mode, which had like the shutter speed and the frames per second really low, and it was just awful. And so I'm not even gonna, well, here suffer through the pain that I suffered through with this stupid predator camera. And then I couldn't get a little remote controller plugged into it to change it. But this was, technically speaking, this was the very first flight of this thing. And this is when it was on the Emax AVAN props. But yeah, it was like 15 frames a second or something weird to get the shutter opened as long as possible for like night flying. But I wasn't really flying it at night. But yeah, this is the first battery. This is with these AVAN props that were a little bit too draggy. It still performed pretty decent. It's just the runtime wasn't great, and I could just kind of feel that the response time wasn't really there. And so it's been much better as I've gone to lighter weight, less pitchy propellers. But yeah, here you go. Here's the actual first battery. Teddy Bear FPV says 3.5 sub 250 or 5-inch sub 250. Neither. Sub 250, unless you're trying to do like some weird long range stuff. But yeah, don't do that. Sub 250, 5-inch sub 250 is going to be a nightmare. Like that just doesn't make any sense. 3.5-inch sub 250 doesn't even make sense. It ends up being like this, actually. It's basically just too floaty. It's going to be just like a toothpick. If you're going to fly something that's as heavy as 250 grams, right, which is like heavy enough to kind of hurt someone, not like kill them, but like hurt them, you might as well have something that flies like good, flies like a freestyle, like a 5-inch freestyle build at 600, 700 grams. This is actually when one of the motors died. I was sure that it was the ESC, but it was actually one of the motors, which was a really nice little surprise. And now I've switched cameras to the Runcam Racer. Yeah, 250 grams, you want to be either 2.5-inch or 3-inch. If you're exactly like 249 grams, it's 3.5. Sorry, it's 3-inch prop. Unless you want more throw. If you want more throw, if you want it to perform like a 700 or 750 gram 5-inch rig, you can go to a 2.5-inch propeller. Easy way to think about it is that the bigger the propellers are always spinning, right? And so the propellers, once they're spinning, they represent like a big parachute, and you've got 4 of them, and then you've got like the central body of the quad, right? And so the bigger the propellers, the bigger the parachute. The heavier it is, the more mass there is to push through that parachute. And that's where a lot of the, that's where this kind of conversation comes from. If you were to do a 250 gram 5-inch rig, you've got a massive parachute and you've got no weight to push through it. So the flying experience of that rig is you're on the throttle, you come off the throttle, it stops. You go up really high, you come off the throttle, and it just it floats down like a leaf, and it takes a half an hour to get to the ground. And so you end up with this like weird flying experience where every time you come off the throttle, the damn thing just stops, and it has no momentum to throw like inverted over trees. It has no momentum for like any cool like backwards flying. It just stops every single time you come off the throttle. And also, in order to build something that light with that big of a propeller, it's going to be severely underpowered. So when you go full throttle, you're not going to get any power. It's just going to be a super boring, super strange flight experience. 3.5-inch sub 250, or just 250 right on the nose, is way more realistic, but it's still not right. It's still too floaty. And you're not going to have the momentum to like throw it over stuff. It's not going to be a balanced flight experience. To get a good balanced flight experience at 250 grams, it's a 3-inch propeller or a 2.5-inch propeller. This right here, what you're watching, this is too floaty. Like every time I come off the throttle, it just goes into this like ultra slow motion, and you're just like waiting. And so you end up with this thing where like when you're off the throttle, it's so slow. And then you get back on the throttle and it's like a lot faster, and it's just out of balance. It doesn't fly right. It doesn't fly like anything else you're going to own. It doesn't fly like a 5-inch rig. And so, yeah, getting the all-up weight with the prop size dialed in properly, that has the biggest effect on flight characteristics out of anything that you're going to do once you're like actually up in the air. If you're somebody that for some reason prioritizes flight time over it flying decent, or like anything else for that matter, okay, I guess sub 250 5-inch, but like why would you do that to yourself? Why would you want to fly something bad for like 5 or 6 minutes at a time? Just buy a couple extra batteries, change batteries every 3 minutes, and fly something that flies good. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, the whole like 5-inch sub 250 or 4-inch sub 250 thing, it's this like it tends to be like I did this just because I could, rather than you should, right? Like you can do that, but you shouldn't, because it's going to fly stupid. And it's going to like, the other thing is going to be that it's not going to fly anything like any of your other builds. And so you're going to have to build up like a specific muscle memory for that super weird thing. And then every single time you fly it or any of your other builds, you're going to have to completely retrain your brain. And like, that's a really good way to like never get good. One of the best ways to get good is to fly the same thing, or at least fly a bunch of different setups that are similar in mainly prop size to all up weight ratio. So like, if you've given up on flying decent, yeah, okay, I guess you can just build weird shit, but don't give up on flying good. Just fly things that are similar, fly 6 batteries a day, and you'll get good in no time. If you fly 6 Tiny Whoop batteries a day on like a Tiny Whoop that's built with some thought, right? Like pretty lightweight with some good powerful motors, you can get extremely good, extremely fast. You got to spend 20-25 minutes a day though. You got to fly 6 batteries a day. But, you know, that's fun. I'm telling you to have a bunch of fun every day. See that right there? See how it had no momentum to get over this tree? Ready? That's too big of a propeller for not enough all-up weight. In this case, it's a 3-inch frame that I've just built too lightweight. The battery is too lightweight. The motors are too lightweight. And so, like, this thing needs a bigger battery. It needs bigger motors. And then I'll get this up to 250 grams. For right now, what I'll probably do as a Band-Aid is just move it down to a 2.5-inch prop. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that too big of a propeller and not enough weight will do. Is you go to like send it up over something and it just won't. It's got a massive parachute and not enough mass like that. That's too much float. That's like, get down, come on, like come back down to the ground so I can fly some more. Like I don't want this like. So, there you go. There's my rant for the live stream. JP Spin set. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. JP Spin says, I think most of us have the one that got away. Mine was a 300Z twin turbo that I'd purchased when I was 20. I adored driving that car. Well, that's actually a good one to let go because those 300Zs have not held up well. The engine bay being so cramped in those, the electronics have gotten too hot over the years, and those things are typically basket cases, which is why you don't see them almost anywhere anymore. So that was actually you had your experience before all hell broke loose from all that underhood temperature. You played it right on that one, my friend. That was a good one to get away. I used to love that car, and over the years, I've always kind of thought like that would be a cool car to snag cheap, because the values really dumped on those. The values did not hold up on the Zs anything like the other sort of Japanese 90s Halo cars, right? Skyline, Supra. Well, the 3000 GT has had the same issue. It's just a basket case. All those electronics are just a nightmare. But yeah, I think last year I kind of looked into it a little bit more. I was like, why don't I see these? And yeah, I found out pretty quickly. It's basically the underhood temps just cooked everything, and they're just a mess. Uriel says, emptied the wallet. Sounds very special. I shy away from going to special. Wilbur says, 04 Lite with Flywoo mods versus Moonlight walk snail for 5-inch freestyle. Neither, to be honest. 04 Lite is for tiny little stuff. The Flywoo mods are just going to fall off of it, so I would definitely not do that for 5-inch freestyle. Moonlight, walk snail Moonlight, I would not do that either. From what I've seen, that didn't get very good reviews sort of anywhere. For me, 5-inch freestyle is old school Vistas, friends. Old school Vistas are bomb-proof, and they perform unbelievable in low light. The latency is very similar to all the other digital setups. You can actually see where you're going, and you can buy them cheap. They're readily available. They're all over the place. Almost all of the frames are going to accept them. So yeah, I would absolutely go with an old school Vista over either one of those options. If I had to choose between those two options, I guess I would choose the 04 Lite. Just because when you realize how bad of a decision you've made, you can take it out and put it into a tiny whoop. But yeah, I'm probably being a little bit too hard on Moonlight. Moonlight came out so long ago that I don't really remember a lot about it. I mean, walk snail is okay, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, my real answer is neither. Jimmy Carr says, I feel you, December is a bad month for me. Happy to be home now watching your stream. Thank you, dude. Glad I can help. Moton says, when will your frame be available to the public? Either never or next year. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to get it into your guys' hands. Worst case scenario, I will beg Ryan to cut a bunch of them on his CNC, and then I will figure out a source for standoffs, and I'll bag them up here and sell them on my Etsy store. Striker says, that's not terrible flight times. Are you planning on trying bigger batteries for less floatiness? Sort of. I mean, once this has properly sized motors on it, I'll probably end up with like a 4S 650 mAh battery. I don't think I'll go all the way up to an 850. I'll certainly try it on an 850, but I think this will be... I mean, we'll see. It really depends on the motors, but yeah, there's a lot more development and testing that needs to happen on this. Also, it'll gain a little bit of weight when I do the AIO setup with 04 Lite. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. These motors are definitely too small, though. This thing is just dying for a set of 1404s. But yeah. Everything Simplified says, 1 out of 2. Hi, I have HP, I think you meant to say HM, CrazyG473, but the black box is misbehaving, reporting issues in OSD, and hardly any data is collected. I tried to lower gyro PID loop frequency to ease off the CPU. Also tried to lower black box log rate with no change. Do you have an idea what else to check? Oh, and then there it is. HP should be HM for heavy model. When did the behavior start? If that behavior started right out of the box, contact whoever you bought it from and tell them that it's broken and they need to replace it. Don't go any deeper into this. We have this weird Stockholm syndrome in FPV where we think that we need to fix everything and that everything's our fault. And it's not. Sometimes it is, but in a lot of cases it's not. And so, like, if this started happening when you hammered it into a tree at 80 miles an hour, okay, it's your fault. This behavior is nothing I've ever heard of before, though. And so it's more than likely a physical issue that has no solution. You did the right things. You lowered the gyro and the PID loop to let the CPU not be potentially overloaded. But I've even had overloaded CPUs that still black boxed completely fine, so that shouldn't have had anything to do with it. There's nothing else. There's no like switch in Betaflight that's like, you know, black box works or doesn't work. You know what I mean? You've already done everything that you can. So if it's been doing that since it was new, send it back. Don't be Stockholm syndromed. Giddybot says for custom carbon fiber parts, check out Robot Smashing League. I don't know why that made me laugh. It's just perfect. Based out of Minnesota, as good or better quality and usually lower cost than CNC Madness. Very cool. Robot Smashing League. I'm going to open that up in a tab here. RSL! Look at that. Cool. Thank you, dude. Good looking out. Whoop Fox says, late to the party, but I made it. Played with some 40mm whoops in the snow. Nice. Scary, but very fun. Oh my god, where the hell am I at in chat? No, there we go. Striker says, despite 65mm flying absolutely nothing like 5-inch, I feel like the real reason Whoops Indoor makes you so good is the reaction time and really how fast you have to think to fly inside. Yeah, very much so. And I actually disagree. I think they do fly like 5-inch rigs, as long as you fly them in the right size space, which is small spaces, right? Like the flight characteristics of like when I come off the throttle, how far they throw in the basement here, shrunken down, and the fact that like I can do that stuff confidently and like the response time is there, right? Like flies like a 5-inch, first of all, is just a stupid thing to say. But if we're going to say that, which we are, right? Like, we're never going to stop saying flies like a 5-inch. What that really means is that it flies good, right? Like, 5-inch rigs fly good. quick response time, a good balance of throw versus like runtime versus power to weight versus all the other things, right? And so saying like flies like a 5-inch, what that really means is that it flies good, and 1.2-inch tiny whoops fly phenomenal. They get the way that we build them now, right? They fly phenomenal. The fact that we can do all of the fucking crazy shit that we do, like back in the days of brushed whoops, they flew nothing like 5-inch rigs because you couldn't even do a power loop with them. You couldn't do a Matty flip. You couldn't do jack shit. When we went to brushless motors, it got a lot better because we got motor braking, and so now they're more stable, especially when they're upside down or backwards or in a weird orientation. And now that we've got crazy high kV motors, now we've got the power to weight ratio back. But you can't take them outside. They're not meant for outside, right? They're meant for in here. They're meant for a 500 square foot basement or a 800 square foot living room, right? This is what they're meant for. And in this space, they fly phenomenal, and we can do all the same shit that we do with 5-inch rigs, right? And to me, that means that they absolutely do fly like a 5-inch rig. But it's just, you know, a part of that. It would make no sense to build a 1.2-inch rig to go 100 miles an hour like a 5-inch rig, right? Like it makes no sense to fly it inside. So it kind of like goes without saying that a specifically sized rig, you got to fly it in the right location. And that's the part that I think a lot of people kind of miss. Ramalala says $700 for Mario Kart on Switch 2. Yes? I don't know what that means. Strager says, you have to process everything so quickly because everything comes at you fast. It just automatically makes you better. Indeed, I agree. Uriel says, your remark about Harley, I did a study. Jip, it's a no-no. Did I mention Harley? I have a hard time saying Harley because I usually refer to them as Hardly Abelsons. It's like one of my favorite jokes of all time from people that drive in the mountains a lot. Because the Harley guys always have these massive egos, but their bikes are hardly able, and then they're the ones that slide off the side of the road and cause all kinds of problems. Obviously not the only ones, but they're in crazy numbers. They're the ones, you know, doing shit that makes driving fast on mountain roads look super dangerous because they die a lot, right? Because they're on a motorbicycle, and when you crash on a motorbicycle, you die. El Chingon says, just dropped in, so I apologize if it's already discussed. What do you think of HQ Ultralight 31mm biblades for my 65mm 04 build? Better than triblades for efficiency? Certainly better for efficiency, but worse for everything else. Well, better for response time as well, but worse for everything else. A 65mm 04 build is going to be unbelievably heavy. And so the biblades, so the weight is going to make it like excruciating to fly because every time you turn, it's just going to want to keep going sideways. And so biblades are going to make that situation even worse. So yeah, I definitely would not recommend biblades on a fat 1.2-inch rig like this. Unless you're prioritizing response time and efficiency. If that's all that matters to you, then sure. But everything else, those biblades are going to do worse, unfortunately. Oh, I forgot to mention to you guys, I tried to use Rocksteady on this, and it absolutely does not work. It was working fine when I had this in the bigger 75mm frame, but once I moved it to the smaller frame with the smaller props and the higher kV motors, Rocksteady was absolutely all over the place. So you can't really do a build like this unless you're going to dive into some black boxing and some filtering and some other stuff. I doubt you'll be able to do a build like this where Rocksteady or GyroFlow is going to work properly. But that's okay. This is a super cursed build anyway. Don't do something like this. This is silly. If you're going to do an 04 Lite build in a 65mm frame, do a RC car chasing setup with one of my Batwing mounts. Whoopfox says, have you seen the Nubidra new brushed Whoop with ELRS and motor braking for $70? Been thinking of snagging one as a basher. Yeah, do it. If nothing else, a brushed whoop will make you appreciate how far things have come. And it's like a fun walk down memory lane. Also, like, it makes you appreciate having enough power to do inverted stuff. It's just, and you know, for $70, like, there'll always be use for it. You'll give it to somebody, like somebody that becomes a little bit interested in FPV, like, here, borrow this for as long as you want and never give it back, please. Like, it's just a cool kind of thing to have floating around. And $70 is so cheap. Striker asks, any prop recommendations for a 700 gram all up 4S build? Oh god, there are too many 5-inch propellers to even begin. Just look at what they weigh and get like sort of the lightest that you can. They're in the world of 5-inch propellers, you can close your eyes and point and hit one of the best propellers ever made. There's really, like, it's hard to find a 5-inch propeller that's not unbelievably good. So yeah, just look at the weights of a bunch of them and just pick the lightest one. Hills Have FPV says, what's your favorite 65mm frame and motors currently? Newbie Drone Cockroach V3, especially for indoor stuff because the ducts are nice and tall here. And then the Tiny Whoop or Weebleed 0702 32,000, 32,500 kV motors. Chef Bruno says, how do you feel about a 2.5-inch toothpick on 1104 4300s for a park flyer? I'm not really down with the toothpick thing. Having like motors in view is a bit much. For a park flyer, I would want something with more throw to like throw over trees and stuff that are going to be in the park, right? 1104 on a 2.5-inch prop, it's going to need to be a biblade. You're not going to want to run that on a triblade. That's not enough motor for a triblade. 4300 kV, I have no idea because I don't know what your voltage is going to be, but like off the top of my head, you're going to want bare minimum 2S, probably 3S. But yeah, there you go. There's a bunch of thoughts. Same reaction as you did to the parts. My buddy's letting me borrow it for a bit since I'm not in the air right now with anything. Gotcha. Yeah, just get the lightest 5-inch props that you can find. All right, so I played the flight footage for you from this thing. The other thing that I wanted to do here is dive into this insanity. This is most 3-inch T-mount propellers. And I haven't done this in a while, but I love weighing them. Hold on. Did I make it? Did I do? I'll be damned. Look at overachieving past me. Wait a second. What? Oh my god, I weighed a lot of 5-inch props. What a waste of time. None of them are made anymore. I did not weigh all of these. Hold on. Or did I? No, I weighed more 3.5-inch props. CiottiFPV.com is my little Linktree website with all the ways that you can support me. This is a totally crowdfunded thing. This way, when I review stuff, you don't have to worry like, oh, is he being soft on it because he got it sent to him for free. You guys keep the lights on around here, and so if something sucks, I tell you that it sucks. If it's great, I tell you that it's great. Discord is the best way that you can support me. You can jump on there for as little as $3 a month. That's only 10 cents a day. That's like 20 cents per live stream. You cannot tell me that this continuing on is not worth that. Join me on Patreon and you'll have access to this FPV weights Google Doc that I'm about to add a whole bunch of stuff to. The Patreon post with this is probably old, so what I'm going to do real quick is make a new Patreon post, create post, and it's going to be called 3-inch and up going to go 2.5 inch and up FPV weights. Oops. Okay. And here's a link to the spreadsheet. And I'm going to embed this URL. There's another link. And 2.5 inch and up FPV weights. Is this good? I'm going to add a tag here, which is, I'm going to add the tag Tech Talk. And then I'm going to add the tag weights. And there you go. All right. You now have a link to this document. I need to insert a bunch of... All right, so I can copy, and then I can insert cells and shift down. Insert cells and shift down. Oh, balls. Insert cells and shift down. I need to make some spaces here. Copy, and then insert cells, and there we go. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna add a bunch more props on here, and we're gonna do that together while you guys ask any questions that you've got. Shankin says, once you're done testing the baby turtles, I'd be curious if you'd try out the Caillou Mini 2.5 inch frame. If it was in stock anywhere, I could maybe do that, but it's not. I would certainly be willing to, but yeah, it's not in stock. Uriel says, you had an email from me, you still don't thrust me. I definitely don't thrust you. I do trust you, but I have about 300 unread emails right now. My email is a war zone of death and destruction. If you guys ever email me, be prepared to wait like weeks to hear back. It sucks the biggest bag of dicks on earth. But eventually I'll get to it. But again, I definitely don't thrust you. Derpa. Okay. Here we go. All right. So this is also going to be like a weird walk down memory lane. Those of you OG motherfuckers, be honest. Have you heard of all of these propellers before? I have been collecting damn near all of the T-mount props over the years, and now's your chance to impress me. Also, I haven't broken these props out in a while, and so this will be kind of fun for me to screw around with these. So away we go. First up, we've got GemFan Hurricane 3018s. Hold on, I gotta get the calculator up here. Let's get the because I'm gonna have to do long division, not long division, just regular division. But I'm so dumb that I can't even do regular division. So GemFan 3018 biblades. What I like to do is weigh 4 of these at a time, and then divide it out. Because the less you weigh on these scales, the less accurate they are. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try to read... Oh, God, I can't read that at all. There we go. That's a little bit better. I'll try to read it along with you. Right. So, GemFan 3018. 3018 by. I'm just going to do X2. Is 3.6 grams, it looks like. Yep. 3.6 divided by 4 equals 0.9. Please excuse the cacophony of noises coming from above. That somebody's moving shit around in the dining room, which is right above me here. All right, so these are the props that are currently on this. These are very well balanced. These are like an OG awesome propeller. Nothing wrong with these at all. For the record, some of these propellers are no longer available. I'm really sorry if I get your hopes up with some of these, but I just can't keep track of when these props are and aren't available. It's just too much. It's absolutely infuriating that these prop manufacturers don't continue selling these, because I know good and well that they had to make 1 million of the damn things. But hey, these are the Emax Avan 3-inch props. I really love these, but you got to have enough motor for them. I'm gonna try to get this a little bit better. There we go. That's looking a little bit nicer here. Try to get as little crotch in the shot as possible. Try to keep the crotch to a minimum. 5 grams. All right. And so we've got 5 divided by 4, which equals 1.25. 1.25, and this is Emax Avan 3-inch. All right. These are great propellers, beautifully well balanced. They don't really tell you what the pitch is. I seem to remember looking the pitch up on the internet, and I feel like it might have been 1.2 pitch, but there's no way in fucking balls that that's 1.2 inches of pitch. The big problem with this propeller is look how far down the blade swoops below the mounting point. If you run a wide motor, the blade will hit it here. So there are not a ton of motors that this propeller will clear. It's got to be a motor like this one that's got a mounting pad that's raised and then those 45-degree angles down there. If this motor was totally flat on top, this propeller would not clear. The other problem with this propeller is that I love how strong the blade is here, but then it's very weak out here. And so when you crash this propeller, it bends like in here, and they're not very durable. And when the propeller bends here, it'll like 90 degree down, and then it'll hit the arm, and you won't be able to fly away. So yeah, these are good props, but not great for crashing. They're also so flimsy that when you do crash, they don't like cushion the motor a lot. Like the end of the prop just bends, and then the motor bangs into the concrete or the metal or whatever, and it's game over. These are HQ T3 by 1.8 by 3s. These props are very annoying because on the propeller, they do not say what they are. So if you throw away the bag for these propellers, you're screwed. You'll never know what they are. They say like mini on the blade. It's really weird. But yeah, these are T3 by 1.8 by 3. And in one of the flight videos that I just played for you, I was flying these. You could hopefully see the pinkness. And so these fellas, also 5 grams. Okay. So 1.25 per propeller, just like the Emax Avan. Oh, nope, now it's coming down. Push on the scale here. All right, now let's, we'll go with 4.9. 1.225, a little bit better. 1.225, there we go. All right, these are good, very well balanced. Super annoying that they don't say what they are on the blade. 99% of propellers right here on one of the blades, it'll tell you the prop size and the pitch, but these are not like that, which is silly. That also makes me think that these are an older propeller. Next, we've got these wacky things. You're definitely not going to be able to find these. Oh boy. These are a weird propeller. These are not 3 inches. These are 2.8s. These are made by... Fuck. Who was it? Is it... It's oh my god. You could only get these from... I'm not even going to include these. Because they're 2.8s, and I don't remember what they are, and I know that you can't get them anymore, I'm not even going to bother including them. I keep wanting to say HGLRC, but it's not HGLRC. It was like DAL-RC. It was one of these weird companies. Boy, it's been too damn long. These are Gemfan Hurricane 3016 by 3s. Let me actually insert cells and shift down. I'm going to put these right next to the other Gemfans. Gemfan 3016 by 3. All right. So these are the same blade profile as the 3018 biblades, but a little bit less pitch and a whole ass extra blade. Oh my god. They're really light. Wait, no, they're not. Sorry. They're the same as all the other ones. 4.9, 1.225 per. 1.225 per prop. Yeah, same weight as the other 3 biblades. The other 2 triblades. Jesus. That we just weighed. Again, great propellers, very well balanced, pretty strong. These are more of like a toothpick kind of propeller, somewhere in between though. They sort of blur the lines between toothpick props and big boy proper propellers. All right, here we go. Now we're going old school as fuck. These are DAL, I believe, right? No. These are Rotor X. Oh my god. These are Rotor X propellers. RX 3044. Hold on. RX 3044 by 3. There was a company called Rotor X that made props way back in the day. And these propellers were super weird. They had these little plastic nubs on the bottom. And they said, hey, you don't have to use T-mount screws anymore. You can just push these little plastic nubs into the T-mount holes in your propeller and they'll hold. Guess what? They didn't. And if you were using a motor that didn't have 4 screw holes in it and just had 2 screw mounting holes, you had to chop these fucking plastic bastards off. And so I've had to chop all the plastic bastards off. These propellers are stupid. They weren't very well balanced either. TR. I'm going to put TR in there. TR. Oh, you fuck. What the hell just happened? It just deleted my whole effing line of text. RX 3044 TR. RX 3044 TR by 3. Okay. These are going to be heavy as hell. What's really annoying is they made them in this beautiful purple color. 6 grams. Look how fat. They were pretty well balanced, but I'm sorry, they were not well balanced. They were pretty durable, is what I meant to say. Although they would bend here at the connection between the propeller and the hub. Way back when, these were about as good as it got because they were so pitchy. We could make good power with them, but that was a long time ago. We're going like 6-7 years ago that these were actually even remotely viable for being used. The big problem was that they were just not very well balanced. And those stupid ass nubs on the bottom were just dumb. Ooh, some Gemfan Wind Dancers. These might be the props that I put on this thing to do all the crash testing because, as you can see, I have a great big bag of these. These aren't bad, but they're also not good. When these first came out, they were an effing miracle. But again, that was back in the days where we were kind of bottom of the barrel. These are 3028. 3028. And 3028 by 3. And 4 of these with the little inserts so that you can run them on T-mount are 6.1, it looks like. Heavy. It came down to 6 grams. 6 divided by 4 is 1.5, just like the other ones. So pretty heavy, too. These were well balanced. The main problem with these is they're pretty low pitch. They're pretty heavy, but then they're pretty low pitch, and they're not all that durable either. These were these would get all bent out of shape really easily. So yeah, can't really recommend them unless you're not going to crash, because again, they were well balanced, which was great. And this is when GemFan was trying to do these little winglets, which was a really cool idea to try to get a little bit more efficiency. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out. We've moved away from those little sharp tips there, but hey, gotta try shit sometimes. Oh boy, this bag of biblades. Oh, buddy. Okay, we are going old school as fuck here. So this is a HQ 3x. This is basically the 3x3 but as a biblade. T 3x3R. HQ T 3x3R. And I'm gonna say by 2. These were, from what I remember, these were not super well balanced, but the biggest problem is they would break or bend between the hub and the blade. So they just weren't durable enough. Boy, are they heavy too. Jesus. 4.9 grams for a biblade is ridiculous. That means they're 1.225 per. 1.225. Boy, propellers have come a long way, man. Yeah, these were all right. They certainly weren't great though. The propeller that was amazing back in the day was this GemFan. This GemFan was a miracle. It was well balanced. It was efficient. Really, really nice propeller. I ended up running tons of these. And they made it in smoke crotch gray and this crazy orange. These, I can't believe I don't remember the pitch. 3025, that's it. Yeah, 3025. GemFan. 3025 by 2. Yeah, these are great. Nice and lightweight, too. Watch this. Weren't super durable, but they were pretty lightweight back in the day. Wow, they're not that lightweight. They have a really heavy hub on them. 3.9. 0.975 per propeller. Okay. Yeah, these are great, man. These made a cool noise too, because I think because they were bullnose like this, they made like a very like whoppy kind of noise, like almost. These are pretty cool. This was the newer version of that HQ 3x3. I don't know if I have a full set of these though. Is it the same thing as this green guy? I think it might be. Hold on, let me start putting some of these back so I don't get all screwed up here. Hold on. License to Drive says, imagine if you could 3D print your props. Dude, that would be insane. That would be wild. I wonder if the resin printing. I wonder if you could resin print props. I know that back when the toroidal propellers were like the hot new thing, there were a bunch of people 3D printing them, and they were just worthless. That like they were so fragile. And I also think that like the 3D printing method probably made them so fragile that you couldn't really get a good comparison point from them. 3x3R. Yeah, see, this is annoying. These have the exact same name as those other ones. Those other 3x3R is what HQ called these. So I'm not even going to put these on there. We're going to move to the last set of, I think these are Rotorex props on here. These guys that I'm not going to measure, these are also a propeller. Well, back in the day, these were all airplane props. None of these were set up for, designed for quads. Look at these little thin bastards. I had such high hopes for these because they were so thin, and these did run really well because they were so goddamn light, but they were just infinitely fragile. Look how light they are, though. Jesus, does that really say 1.7? 1.8. Let's let it settle for a second here. Now let's go with 1.8. So 1.8 divided by 4. My God, 0.45 of a gram each. That's insane. So these are Rotorex. I think they're Rotorex. They might be GemFan 3020. 3020. I'm pretty sure that they're Rotorex. 3020 by 2. All right. Yeah, these are crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy little thin propellers. There's my little bag of biblades. This is my bag of old school biblades. This is my bag of useless biblades, basically. These are all either too fragile or not balanced or just too goddamn old to realistically use. Anybody remember any of these old ass propellers? All right. Next up, we've got. Hold on, I gotta add some. I gotta add some lines to this spreadsheet here, real quick. Copy. Insert cells and shift down. Copy. Insert cells and shift down. There we go. Okay. Sweet. Next up. Oh, friends. Oh, yeah. Yes. The fucking floppy proppies, yo. Who the hell thought this was a good idea? Wow, they're not nearly as heavy as you would think. Still pretty heavy, though. 5.6 divided by 4 is 1.4. 1.4. Was it GemFan that made these? Yeah, GemFan floppy. By 3. Oh, man. I'm so glad I kept a set of these. I will never, ever, ever fly these. Because they're just a nightmare. Floppy Proppy 3015 3015. Yeah, so that was they're just too low of a pitch for a propeller that's this heavy. It can't be this low of a pitch. It doesn't work. You got to pick one or the other. If it's going to be heavy, it's got to have some pitch to it. Oh man, the Floppy Proppies, bro. They even named them silly. These are HQ T 3.1 by 3 by 4. You want to talk about a heavy propeller? Here it comes. Look at these monsters. Oh, buddy. Look at these behemoths. T 3.1. HQT 3.1 by, what did I say? Man, I can't read. 3.1 by 3 by 4. 3 by 4. My God, man. 8.1, a new record. 2.025 per propeller. Good God. 2.025. Got it. Yeah, these are ridiculous. And I think I maybe remember these not being well balanced. None of you will be able to check me on that, though, because they stopped selling these forever ago. Sometimes you can find some of these old propellers on, like, some of the sort of obscure websites, like Rotor Village, for example. Rotor Village is not that obscure, but, like, some of the websites have some really old stuff on them, and you'll be able to find some of these older propellers. You should get some. You should get a set or two. If nothing else, it'll make you appreciate current propellers. These are a totally toothpick prop, but they're only a 1mm hole, so they're out. They don't even exist as far as I'm concerned. DAL 3028s. These were some of the first higher pitched, somewhat durable 3-inch props, and these were amazing. I was so happy when these came out. I bought a shitload of them, and I've actually been giving a bunch of them away in giveaways lately because I've just got too many of them. But yeah, DAL 3028, T 3028, great propeller. Back in the day. T 3028 by 3. And what are we looking at there? 6.3 grams. Little heavy, but durable. 1.575 per prop. 0.575. There we go. Yeah, these dowels were great back in the day. They were not super well balanced, but they were well balanced enough. The plastic that DAL uses, it's okay. It's not as good as the plastic that HQ or GemFan uses, but again, these were high pitch enough. That 28 pitch was just enough where you could make some power. Look at this. I got a big bag of these. What the hell are these? Oh, I know what these are. These are the HQs that were out of balance, aren't they? And then all of a sudden, one day, they were balanced. These are HQ, what are they, like 28s? 30, 20? No, these are not. These are GemFans. Oh, yeah. This is my big-ass bag of GemFan 3016s. These are what I'm going to use. That's right. I got a ton of these in a GemFan sponsor box at one point. So these are what I'm going to be using to crash test this thing. These, because I just have so effing many of them. Perfect. Yeah, so these will be my crash test propellers for this rig. I'm going to put these aside. Put these over here with the quad. It's 4:30. I've only got 4 different props left. Good timing. Because we'll fly a couple of Tiny Whoop batteries, and then we'll all enjoy the rest of our Sunday. This is an HQ 3 by 1.5 by 3. Now we're back to like low pitch, almost like a toothpick-ish propeller. Let me just double check. HQ 3 by 1.5 by 3. HQ 3 by 1.5 by 3. And these guys should be pretty light. Yeah, 4.5, nice and light. 5 divided by 4 is 1.125. There we go. Yeah, this is a good prop, well balanced, but just very low pitch. 1.5 is pretty low pitch. This would be good on the setup that I've got right now, though, because I've got really high kV motors that are a little bit too small of a stator with like old weak magnets. So yeah, if I had more than one set of these would be a good choice for the current build. These are some of my favorite 3-inch props ever. These are the Gem Fan. Oh my god, what are they? 30. God, I forget. 3035. Gem Fan 3035. Very lightweight. 3035 by 3. Yeah, very lightweight, very well balanced. A little bit too fragile though. It was my big issue with these props. They could not take many crashes before they got all bent up. 5.6, 1.4 per propeller. Not super lightweight, mainly because of the hub. This is back in the days of these big, giant, solid hubs on these propellers, which were really heavy. But like, all that mass is centralized, and then the blades are pretty light. So like, these flew as if they were lighter, because again, the weight was all kind of centralized there. So these actually flew a lot better than that weight number would suggest. But still, old school propeller, bull nose, just, yeah, old tech. Props have advanced so much over the years. These are the HQs that for the longest time were out of balance, but then all of a sudden someday they became balanced, and they didn't change the name, they didn't change anything. You just had to get lucky. So I still don't really recommend them, because in theory you could still get a set that are out of balance. These are T3 by 2.5 by 3. So again, we've got good pitch, 2.5 pitch. T3 by 2.5 by 3. Yeah, these are great, and they're nice and strong. They're really strong in here by the hub. 5.8 per propeller. Divided by 4 is 1.45. Yeah, if you can get a set of these that are balanced, these are some of the best 3-inch freestyle props out there. But, yeah, assume that you're going to get a set that are not balanced. Because then if you get a set that are balanced, you feel like a winner, instead of assuming that you're going to get a set that are balanced and then they're not, and you feel like a fucking loser. Last but not least, we've got the GemFan 3020. 3020. 3020 by 3. These were pretty good. 20 pitch. These were really blurring the lines between a toothpick prop and a proper freestyle propeller. 20 pitch is like right in between. Like, it would be nice to have more, but it's not nothing. 5.2. So 1.3 per propeller. Nice and lightweight. Relatively durable, pretty strong here in between the prop and the hub. And again, very well balanced. Back in the day, man, trying to get a 3-inch prop that was well balanced was a real struggle. How many of these propellers you can still buy, I have no idea. Probably not a lot, but... Oh, also, there's the GemFan 3052. I have those in another bag because I fly them a lot. Hopefully that's this bag here. I think it is. Yeah. So, last but not least, my favorite of the 3-inch T-mount props of all time, I think. But wait, these don't have the centers in them. Hold on, I'm going to need to put the little centers in these guys to get a good weight. Yeah, they're not actually 52 pitch. This is a little bit of an older prop. From back in the days where GemFan was putting they were marking the propellers with a much higher pitch than they actually had. I forget why they were doing that, but it doesn't matter. The why doesn't matter, as long as you know that they were doing that. From what I remember, these were closer to like a 25 or a 30 pitch. I think it says it on the GemFan website. I think if you look the 3052 up on their website, it'll tell you the actual pitch. They are very pitchy. Like, that's a lot of blade angle. So you pair these with a good grunty motor, and my God, it makes some power. 6.9 divided by 4 is 1.725. The fact that they're so pitchy is the main reason that I like these. 3052 by 3. There we go. Yeah, these are excellent props for a 250 gram 3-inch rig. I think they're kind of like the best. We're gonna go and take a quick look at a website though to see what 3-inch props there are that I don't have, and then of course I will buy them because that's what I do. I like to have one set of every propeller that exists. I think that's all of them. I don't think I've missed any. That's a 3.5-inch prop. On that spreadsheet, oh shit, no, I did miss some. The HQ 3x3x3s, actually, which were great. These are incredibly well balanced, and you could get them in this amazing purple color. The problem with these is they're very fragile. They break right between the hub and the blade. They either break or bend right in between the blade and the hub. That was a very common problem back then. But other than that, these are a great propeller. We're going to insert cells and shift down. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. Oops. Cut and paste. This is HQ 3x3x3. Nope, not 2x3x3, you donkey. 3x3x3. 6.3 grams divided by 4 is 0.9. Yeah, these were beautifully well balanced. These were some of the best balanced propellers that you could get back then, but they were just so goddamn fragile. It was such a shame. Really, really sad. Oh shit, I didn't get the oh no. What? Good to go. Okay. There it is, friends. There are, I'm pretty sure that's all of the 3-inch T-mount props. Let's take a look at, look how many colors they made these in. Green, purple, black, red. Well, okay. 4 colors is not that many. There are, of course, you know, Cinewhoop 3-inch props and whatnot, but, like, we're just doing freestyle for right now. There's also, I have a whole big-ass bag of M5 mount 3-inch props, but it's very rare that you'll find a motor, a freestyle 3-inch motor that has the M5 mount. Basically, you won't find a motor small enough for that has the M5 mount for a 3-inch propeller, other than with Cinewhoop props. Yeah, that's all of them. So it's it might as well not even exist. Those props might as well not even exist because the motors just don't exist that make any sense with them. That's why I really wish the X-Nova 1804s were higher than 3500 kV. You could do 5S or 6S to kind of fix that situation, but that's pretty annoying. Pyrodrone is one of the best sources of sort of obscure, not necessarily obscure, but like just lots of different propellers. So Cinewhoop prop, here's the 3020s. Cinewhoop prop, now we're into 3.5-inch. By the way, there's a load of 3.5-inch props on that spreadsheet already. Here's the 3020s. Cinewhoop 3x2 by 3. Did I have those? I mean, they're sold out, which kind of sucks. I don't know if I had those 3x2x3. I might not have them. That's annoying that they're sold out. More 3.5 Cinewoop, Cinewoop, Cinewoop. This is kind of a Cinewoop propeller because it's like ultra bullnose. Jesus, Avata props. Go to hell. Here's the 3x2x3s again. Cinewoop, Cinewoop. Avata. I was going to say, what the shit are these? Cinewoop props here. These are actually really nice. I like these T-Motor triblades. They're super pitchy. 3.5. Cinewoop. 3.5. 3.5. Hey, here we go. 3018, 3028. Here's the Dow, 3028s. Here's the... Oh, that's right. Yeah, Dow made a 3018, but don't you wouldn't want a low pitch. There's plenty of these lower pitch 3-inch props. Oh my God, these Emax Avia, and they are available. I'm gonna have to snag some of these. I missed this. A biblade 3-inch prop. Oh, for the Nano Hawk. Okay, so that's gonna be like infinitely lightweight. Interesting. I'm still gonna snag a set. Here's the 3520. And then these are getting into like these super toothpick propellers where you don't even have the T-mount holes. Gemfan 3016s, but they're sold out. Here's the 3x4x3s. I have some of these, but they're M5 mount only. There's the floppies. Oh, they're Dow. Dow made a foldable prop. That's right, but it's M5 mount. It's not T-mount. The Gemfans were T-mount. Again, M5 mount, but also Cinewoop. HQ heads up 3. Yeah, that's right. 533 made a version for their tiny trainer of the 3x1.8s. Here's the regular 3x1.8s. Yeah, shit, man. I pretty much have them all, other than these 3x2s, I think, that are sold out. Where the hell did they go? Here they are. 3x2x3. I'll be looking. I'll continue to look for T-mount 3-inch props to see what I can find. Now that I have a setup like this. Let me get caught up on Chad. Cole says you can 3D print props. They suck, and resin prints get brittle with UV exposure. You can only fly them inside. That's funny. Custom gimbal stick ends that eventually... Oh, yeah, like those custom gimbal ends that eventually crack apart. Good call. Jerry Potterman says, been testing props on Caddx GoFilm 2-inch 4S stock were Gemfan 1.5-inch 3 blades. Lots of prop wash. I got HQ 1-inch 6 blades. Amazing on stock tune. And Gemfan 1.5-inch 5 blades. Prop wash again. Oh, you're calling out the pitch, right? These are 2-inch props, and then you're calling out the pitch. Okay. Well, if you're getting lots of prop wash on the 5 blades, more than likely it's because the motors are too damn small. A 2-inch 5 blade, that's gonna want a pretty big motor. Oh, Tanky FPV with a really good call. Floppy proppies are for fixed wings. Exactly, right? When you land a fixed wing, you want the propeller blades to fold out. Good call. Good call. Cole FPV says, if I had a line of propellers, I'd call them proppycock. Jerry Potterman says, is it just too much power on Gemfan 1.5-inch 5 blades? Yeah, it really... You have to match the weight of the propeller to the size of the motor. One of the biggest things that affects prop wash is the response time. Regardless of how high you push the PIDs, if it's too heavy of a propeller for too small of a motor, you're not going to get the response time to eat the prop wash up. So yeah, that's probably what you've got going on there. It could also, though, be that the propellers are just out of balance. That's something that happens with these smaller props all the time. But, yeah, also the propeller has to have depending, you didn't tell me what the KV of the motors were. If the motor is too high of a, we've got a situation where there's like multiple things that intersect. Is the propeller balanced? Is the propeller too heavy? Does the prop have enough pitch? Is the motor too low of a KV, right? And so like the intersection of all these things has to be correct for you to get good prop wash handling. So yeah, that's kind of tough. Caddx GoFilm. So the Caddx GoFilm has also, is the quad too heavy? If the quad is too heavy, that can cause all kinds of issues because the motors will get too hot. So it looks like that rig has 1303 6000 kV motors. I don't, that helps me a little bit, but I don't know what voltage you're running it on. A 6000 kV motor, you're going to want to be either 3S or 4S. That they're kind of in between. So that's going to have a huge impact on it as well. Usually they'll suggest a battery voltage 4S. So they're suggesting 4S. 4S 6000 kV. That's a good amount of RPM. You know, to be really honest, like just testing the propellers is the best thing that you can do. It tells you the runtime, it tells you the amount of power, it tells you whether they can, how the response time is. If the response time is good, it'll eat prop wash. If the response time sucks, it'll prop wash like crazy. And so like you're already doing the hard work, Jerry. You're trying them on different props. You know, this is like kind of a cinematic build-ish. So having a 4, 5, 6 bladed propeller is going to be a lot quieter. And it's going to be slower and more sort of a scalpel where it goes straight. And then when you turn, it turns rather than it slides around. A 3-blade prop, a 2-blade prop, it's going to be more slidey. So it's also kind of about what you want. Do you want something that slides all around? Do you want something that goes straight? Do you want something that's quiet? Do you not? Does that not matter? And so those are the reasons to pick one propeller over another. It sounds like you're doing a really good job, though, already kind of figuring that out. So yeah, just keep trying them. The props are so cheap that just keep buying them. Every time you do an FPV order, buy all of the, what are these, 2-inch? Buy all of the 2-inch props that website has. Yeah, 2-inch frame size. But yeah, that's what's happening there, is that you're starting to realize there's differences in the amount of pitch, the weight of the propeller, whether or not they're balanced out of the box, which unfortunately is not a given. So yeah, you're doing it, brother. Keep going. Keep testing. Propeller testing is a great way to get better at flying and just to kind of like learn what works and what doesn't with these things. So keep doing it, man. All right, I'm going to fly a Ultimate Freestyle Tiny Whoop on these little newbie drone 30,000 kV 0702s because they make mad power, and I'm trying to get used to this thing so that when the BetaFPV version 2 batteries show up, I'm used to this build, and we're going to do some testing of those batteries versus the Nitro Nectar Gold NX69s. So let's throw a couple of batteries through this. This is your reminder to fly your 6 batteries today so that you can be a little bit better of a pilot tomorrow. And we've now got LQ. Well, no, I've always had LQ. But now I have signal to noise ratio down there, which is just pinned at 12. I did a super chat on Joshua's stream today, and he explained RSSI versus RSSI DBM. RSSI is basically scaling. It's scaling the RSSI DBM, but the scale that it's using is unknown. So that is why it's pretty much worthless. That being said, 1 or 2 live streams ago when we tested all this, RSSI scaling was fine. Like, it would get really low, and then it would eventually fail-safe. When it wasn't really low, it wasn't fail-safing. So, like, even though the scaling is unknown, the scaling is not, like, that bad. Because when those numbers would get low, it would be towards the end of the range. Look at this smug little shit. Just trotting away from the tiny whoop. Who do you think you are? Where you going? Where you going? You going to the dead end? What are you going to do down here? What are you doing, little dog? Low battery. Oh, balls. Oh, God! I think it might have just thrown a propeller. No. That was weird. I don't know. I was looking at the gate. I wasn't looking at where I was going, and then it was too late. That was the worst crash ever. That was an absolutely insane crash. Oh, boy. I'm trying to do something with this here. I'm trying to, like, basically go into this cube and out backwards. But I'm trying to figure out how to do it as, like, one big movement. That was pretty close. Let's get this battery out of here. These are old Beat batteries, so don't be weirded out by the 2-minute and 20-second runtimes. These batteries have been really hammered good and hard. Just like my ex-wife. Alright. Let me keep trying to get that while I'm thinking about it. Come on now. Give it to me. That's what she said. Balls. Come on. Shit. Oh my God. No, no, no. The claw. Ooh, you have been chosen. I am the chosen one. The claw. Oh. Damn it. Come on. It's going to be cool when I get it. You guys will see. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool looking. What's happening? Why am I wobbling all over all of a sudden? Ooh, that was pretty close. I gotta get the throw just right. I gotta throw it a little closer to the wall. This thing is actually acting a little weird right now. It's not spinning all the way down at 0 throttle. What the fuck is going on right now? Why is this... Why? Why are you doing this to me? Okay, thank you. All's well that ends well. Oh God! The drum set tried to eat me. Kind of succeeded. Oh, I tried to go backwards through that other gap. That was stupid. Crash a lot, friends. You can do all kinds of cool shit right before you crash. Oh no! Oh, there it was. I got in there. Couldn't quite get out, though. Ugh, nope. That was ugly. Stop it! It's so busy down here, man. There's just so much shit to hit. Nope. Oh my god, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that went through there. Alright. Yeah, another barely over 2-minute battery. I will say that these Newbie Drone, Hummingbird, 0702, 30,000 kV motors are hungry. They are hungry like a wolf. They make great power, but they are hungry like a wolf. All right. More bashing. Yeah, when this thing is off throttle, it's like... Wait, no. That's weird. It's not winding up now. It's only winding up when I do that movement. When I do this movement. Come on now. What you know about that? Oh, God, I'm getting so close to it. Here we go. I got it on this one. Ah! I actually said it, and then I did it. I said I got it on this one, and then I got it. I had it on that one. Let's try it again. Make sure it's not luck. It was luck. I almost had it on that one, though. Ah. It seems to be... I don't know what's happening now. I think I'm sideways. What am I, in between the couch cushions? I think I'm in between the couch cushions. I'm like a fucking remote control that's gotten stuck. Oh, no, I know where I'm at. Ooh. I was there. Woo! I'm like your phone, bro, stuck between the couch cushions. Oh my god. Yo, that was cool. I fucking got it. Usually when I try to do something new and cool on the live stream, I can't get it. Oh, I almost got it twice there. Okay. That's what happens when you go full throttle too early on a Matty flip and just drive yourself into the carpet. Oh! Oh! What? What was that? Ooh! I tried turning it the wrong way. Sometimes you gotta just rotate the opposite direction and see what happens. Ooh! It's cooler when you do it backwards. Ooh, this battery did not run long at all. This battery's a little bit more work than the other one, though. Look at that. Look at that. That's 3 batteries. We just flew 3 batteries. You can fly 6. Come on. Fly your 6, you lazy bastard. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Fly 6 batteries today. Here we go. Number 4. Oh! Much better. Oh! Oh! Suck it, Trebek! What are you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? Ow! Let's get back to the impossible trick. Oh, god damn you! It was so close! I just had to hit the throttle a split second earlier. Try it again. Oh! Ooh! Get the setup going here. Yoink! Nope. Ooh! I was not really lined up all that well, but I made a little correction last second. that fixed it. Oh God, I thought I was rotated the other way. Oh, hey. No, 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 no. Don't hit the side of that gate. No! How you gonna do me like that? Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, no, no. No. Yes. Oh, God, no. Why can't I get through these goddamn hanging gates right here all of a sudden? What? Why? Stop rejecting me. What are you, my ex? Oh, you fart bastard. And now it's behind this shit. Clippity clappity clonks. Fly your 6 batteries, or I'll judge your flying poorly. Oh God, why? Yeah, hey, hey, no. No, no, no! Get out of there! Get out of the fire, you idiot. There it is. Oh, oh, what? Son of a bitch. Son of a... No, no, no. Why does it do that countdown sometimes? That's so weird. 2 minutes and 20. Thump on the desk, it says. 1 260 mAh battery, and then we're out of here. Thank you for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com if you'd like to continue to learn and test shit and fly stuff that flies awesome and flip-flop and quip-quap and bing-bong and schling-schlong. That's what we do around here. Maximum schling-schlongage. What if I was Stevie Wondering every single one of these batteries and you were just looking at my face? Hey! My nose itches. Ah! I gotta scratch it. That crash brought to you by my nose itching. From all the cocaine. Okay! Newbie drone hanging gate has been just punished. Look how early I'm getting that low battery warning. On these little 260s. Wow, the float is so nice, though. Ah! No! No! Ooh. Oh, no! Oh! 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 What you know about it? Oh! Newbie drone gate. Being tough. I don't know how or where it went through, but it went through. Hey! Hey! Yo! Oh! That last second direction change. No, no, no! Oh, don't die! No, no, no. Oh, it's not going to come out of there. Oh, it would have come out if I hadn't disarmed. What a jackass. Yeah, no, that's stuck back there. 1 minute and 22. I flew this battery hard, though. The little 260s, man, they're fun. They're nice to have, but the runtime is pretty abysmal. We're going to do one more. We're going to do the full 6. Full 6 today, damn it. One more 260 mAh battery. Subscribe to my Patreon or I'll starve to death and die. I'm already pretty skinny, so that won't happen. That won't take very long. Thanks for hanging, friends. See you again tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Oh, God, it went through one but not the other. That's insane. No, no, no. Get. No, no. Don't ping pong. Okay. No. Stop it. Ugh. Oh, damn it. I couldn't cook off that little bit of extra momentum I had. Jesus Christ. There we go. Ah! Ah! Come on. Give me the gypsum. There it is. What was that? Let's get some extended release tablets going. Ready? Here we go. No, I want to go inverted. I want to go through the gap inverted. Shit! Time for some extended release tablets. Ready? Here we go. Yeah, almost. I want to try to snap that 180 degree quick. There it was! Yes! Shit. It's tough to do. It's my favorite thing to do outside, though. No! I threw it too high. See, now I'm overcompensating, as always. Oh my god. The Matty flips with that stall inverted and the gates go through backwards and upside down. Jesus, is that my favorite. See, I want to get through the gate while I'm still inverted. It's hard to do in a tight space. Ah, there it was. You don't have enough time to, like, see what the hell's going on, though. Minute and 51 on a 260. Not bad. Woo! Some half decent flying today. Fly. You fly. Practice today. Fly it. It's sitting right there on your desk. Fly that shit. Do it. Tomorrow you will thank you. Whoopflock says, have you got a whoop stuck on them ornaments you're sealing yet? Not yet. Not yet. It's coming, I'm sure. Islander says, I'm sure I'm the last to know this, but your billionaire Atlanta neighbor, Tyler Perry, has a personal RC plane airstrip. No way. And commissions and flies 20-foot wide, 350-pound scale models of jets. Oh my god. I wish I had any way of getting in touch with him to go chase the damn things. That'd be insane. Thanks for hanging, friends. I'll see you tomorrow night. I just ran out of things to say. Here comes flying my frame a little bit more. Thanks for all the kind words. Did you guys have kind words? Whatever. I'll pretend that you had kind words. Love you. Bye. All right, this is my frame on the, see you tomorrow night.
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy spaghetti's, fur flies, and jet wash dreams. Yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin, all tangled in place. Yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, they zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shotties on sticks, Teddy's on paws, side by side legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen over couch scale terrain, backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz fuel fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah. Yo, Shotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle. Mike, they on the dog drone streets every day and night. low, gotta nail the dive, Teddy.
Push throttle up, feel the beast come alive.
I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy.
Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep, yeah. CiottiFPV, Teddy's spaghetti, diamond at duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Teddy's spaghetti. Barking at the breeze, rocking at top speed things, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, when you hear that bar cut the rotor hum, you know Ciotti and Teddy's mission's just begun. FPV's fur-faced legends sing it loud. Yeah, Teddy spaghetti and CiottiFPV always proud.